Hey time travelers, I'm so excited to see you again. So as I mentioned to you in the last video that I did, I have been through a lot these past several months between my own personal health and some things that my daughter was going through health-wise. I'm so excited to be back and I have a lot of exciting new content coming up for you, but I wanted to take a trip back. We're going to do a little throwback video because I know I mentioned in the last video that I did a lot of treasure hunting for vintage items, and I happened to find a Glassybaby. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Glassybaby, you're going to learn about it today in this video, and you can come with me as I find this Glassybaby, which was found actually at a barn sale. People have tended to find Glassybabies in the wild, as they say, in different places along the way. And so whether it's at Goodwill or garage sales, and I happened to find this beautiful Glassybaby right there on the table at this barn sale. It's an exciting topic, actually, believe it or not, for those of you who are new to the Glassybaby world. It's something that I often see talked about on threads and also in videos that a lot of the big thrifting channels get really excited about it. So that's where I learned about it and I was very excited. But I would love for you to come along with me and enjoy this adventure and check out some of the other things that I've gotten. Maybe there are some ideas, especially in the Northeast where we are just getting into spring and warmer temperatures. Garage sales are not a year-round thing where we are, and so that season is starting to come again, and so maybe you'll find your own Glassybaby or some of the other treasures. So come along, and I hope you enjoy this trip back with the throwback Jennifer. We're going to be taking a step back in time about 6 months ago when I had gone to this special sale, and we will see you there. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited you're here. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Well, today it's Saturday and it's early. You can see from the clock. It's about 7:45 a.m. I should be looking at the inside of my eyelids because at this point during the week, I'm usually heading to work. Something's wrong with me. But today I decided I wanted to check out this barn sale. This was a great sale that I'd been to over the summer, and it was on this huge property that's about 5 minutes from my house. I'm going again, and I'm going early. It starts at 8 a.m., which is unusual because a lot of the garage sales around here tend to start around 9. I am equipped with a box to carry through there in case I see some cool things, because the last time I don't even think I had anything with me. I ended up buying a little toy British police officer hat and carrying stuff in there to tote out of there. But this was a great sale. I found myself a pair of Ferragamo shoes for only $7. Yes, that's right. They were practically brand new. They still had their original box. As a lot of people who like to thrift and pick and resell say, it was one of those start the car moments. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna find today, but speaking of starting the car, it is cold. Welcome to the Northeast. But what's also great is I have a house that heats up pretty quickly. Those old steam radiators that I have, they get things warmed up here very quickly too. But I think I'm pretty well dressed. I even have boots on. You can see these here. I've got an extra box. I'm gonna grab an extra bag to go and carry over my shoulder. And let's see what kind of treasures we can get today. I'm really excited to take you with me, and we will step back in time for more vintage treasures. Let's see what we can get. was my first stop to check through the records, but I really am not in the market for any records, and so I didn't pick up any of them, but I still wanted to give a look to see if there was anything cool, and I didn't want to miss that. Next was to the books, and I'm always looking for some cookbooks because I like vintage cookbooks, and I thought it would be something that I could also use on the channel, and lo and behold, there was a vintage cookbook. And here's another cookbook that I looked at, but eventually I grabbed a different one and ended up taking it with me. I looked at the hard goods, including this Christmas set of dishes, but I decided to leave this, and hopefully it went to a good home. I checked out the mugs and a whole bunch of other Christmas tchotchkes, but I didn't pick anything up. I thought maybe I could find some interesting mugs, but these were all modern, made in China types. I moved over to soft goods and started looking through some of the purses that were there. Next, there were these pillows, which were really beautiful, but I didn't have any use for them. And then I went back to the purses and checked those out. Moved on to this backpack, which looked to be in pretty good shape, and I considered it might be something good for resale, but it was something that I ultimately ended up using myself. After putting that in my box, I moved on to scarves, and I started looking through all of those to see if there was something interesting. And then I stumbled on this scarf that was in beautiful shape and had all of this beading on it. And so I decided to take this with me. I thought it would be something that I could use for these videos and my outfits here. After I put that into my box, then I moved on to shoes, and I was hoping to find another pair like the Ferragamos, but I didn't have any luck. I was specifically looking for vintage shoes, and possibly those clogs, because I was looking for 1970s style shoes, and I remember my mom wearing clogs in the 70s, but those were not my size, and none of these shoes were my size. I was giving them a good look though, and then I moved over and I happened to see these patent leather shoes, which were from a British store, and they still had their original price tags on. And so I decided to take them. I thought that they were really nice. I thought either for resale or for myself, because I could always use a nice pair of shoes. Then I decided to take a look at neckties, because this is something I've picked up a few neckties and I've listed them on Poshmark. So I wanted to give a good look at a few of these ties and thought that I should take them with me. These are things that are easy to sell, I think, at least for listing, hopefully to sell. I haven't had any sell yet, but they're small enough that I can keep them in stowed away in a compact place. So I thought that that would be something that I could also pick up, and they were inexpensive. I found some really great silk ties for very little, and so I think when I do have the opportunity to sell them, they will sell for a decent amount. I moved on to clothes because I wanted to see if I could find anything vintage and interesting, but I didn't have any luck here. I moved on and found this nice little scarf set, and also the little bag next to it, which turned out to be an Estee Lauder cosmetics bag. And I thought that both of these items might be nice for Poshmark, especially since neither of them was used and they were brand new. So I decided to take both of them. I looked at some other things too along the way. Then I found this little bag from Nepal, which I thought was very adorable, but I didn't realize at the time that there was some damage to it and some moths had chewed it. But I thought it was very cute, and so I grabbed it. And I gave a look at more clothes here, but again, I didn't find anything. But then it triggered a reminder to me because I was right over by the candlesticks and candle holders that I might want to go take a look at those, because I had in my mind one of the items on my bucket list would be a Glassybaby candle holder. And so I moved on after looking at jeans and hoping I could maybe find a pair of Jordache to go take a look at the candle holders. I did take a look and I saw some things that had a Glassybaby look to them. Of course, though, I had never gotten to pick them up, but I know I talked about this before on my channel when I talked about my visit to Goodwill, and also the Habitat for Humanity Restore and the Salvation Army, and I was hoping to find them. I knew what they looked like, but I'd never found one, and I didn't see that any of these were marked on the bottom. However, I did end up turning my camera off because I just had to look different things up. I kept giving a look again, and lo and behold, I found something that I saw Glassybaby etched on the bottom. I had to do a double take though and take it over to a different part of the sale because it was very dark in there, and it was a barn sale, as of course I mentioned, so the lighting wasn't that great. But then I brought it over by a window, as you could see, to get a little light, and that went right into my bag. I didn't want to let it go. It was only $1. I actually changed my mind and put it in the box rather than the bag because I was afraid if I bumped into that, because as you'll see later in the video, the Glassybabys have a very high value. And as it was at that time, because I do have a lot of things in that color, I wasn't sure if I would sell it or keep it, but so far I have kept the Glassybaby. But we'll talk more about that later. I moved on to some other tchotchkes there, like a clock. I was looking at all of these little hard goods there to see if there was something of value that I could find and take with me. This little figurine gave me a chuckle. It's basically a guy who is smoking and he's on the potty and he's reading a book about how to stop smoking, and there was a little sign with these cats. And I did check out some other figurines, but I saw that they were mass-produced, made in China type of figurines. So I decided to pass on those, and they had to be purchased as a set in the entire box. Now, if they were vintage and were maybe made in another country other than China, I would have gone for those, but I decided not to. As I've mentioned before in the other videos, those types of items are mass-produced, and so they don't have the value. I mean, some of them are cute, so it really depends, and I have gotten them before, but I would just prefer not to. Usually when they are made in Europe, or they might be made in Taiwan, you know, they're made in Japan, those are the ones that I usually grab. And then I moved on to teacups, because teacups can have a high resale value on eBay, and especially the English ones. And this group is an English group that was running this sale, and so there were some really beautiful cups, but I just had to decide, because they were a little bit higher priced, which ones I wanted to take with me, because I did come with a budget in mind, and so I wanted to stick with that. I deliberated over these teacups. I thought that they were super cute with the butterflies on them. And I thought, did I really need them? Did I want them? But I thought that they were really adorable. I checked out some of the other glass items there, and I wanted to see if there was something I couldn't live without. But then my eyes
went back to those teacups because I thought that they were really cute and that was an excellent price. I started looking at some of the other things around me, some cute mugs. I wanted to see if I could find something of value that I thought I should take with me. And I continued looking at some of the glassware. They had a lot of pretty stuff there. But then I returned back and I decided that I wanted to take those teacups, but the problem was I already had that box of items in there, including the Glassybaby, and so I was worried about that and if something could happen to them. So I decided that I would take that box out to the car and I would come back for the teacups. So you can see that's what I did. I paid up for the Glassybaby. I got a separate box for that. And I noticed this tureen there, that white tureen. I actually have one of those myself that my grandmother had had. I looked at this little dish here and thought that was cute. And then I picked up this little piece of art that I thought I might like to get, and it was only $1. So I decided to take that with me. And lastly, I got this piece of Corningware.
Well, I'm back and I'm going to show you my haul now. I've got a lot of things to show you. So I've got my cup of coffee to give me a little strength here. Maybe you might want one yourself. I ended up coming home with 2 boxes as well as that big Corningware dish that I had gotten. And with the boxes, these people that were running this were so sweet. They offered to help people. What is that on my face? They offered to help people with their things to their car. They packaged things up. Again, this is for a charity. They had a bunch of free stuff there, and I noticed they had a lot of space bags as well. And so, and maybe you hear some rustling, that's my Achilles going into one of the boxes and pushing out the space bags, which hopefully he's not going to puncture those. But space bags cost a lot. The actual space bags, you can get them relatively inexpensively at the Dollar Tree. So I ended up grabbing some because I can always use them. Most of them were in good shape. The item I'm most excited about is finding a Glassybaby. Glassybaby was not even on my radar or consciousness until a few months ago when I was watching these vintage sellers and watching these resellers. And I joined a group, and people, especially when you find a Glassybaby, as they put it, in the wild, so to speak, finding it at a garage sale or at Goodwill, that's a big deal. I am going to flash for you some of the resale values on this, and you can see now how much they go for. So they go for a really good price, as you've seen. And I will show you that, but I've got some other treasures to show you first. And Ben is busy rustling up my... They're very fascinated, the cats, with my space bags. Ended up getting this sweet tea set, and I looked this up. I was able to do a Google Lens search. You can see that this is English brand Crown, Staffordshire China, and it's vintage. It's really beautiful. The colors with the butterflies. A lot of people love butterflies, and I had seen them listed on places like Etsy. They don't have a huge resale value as some of the other teacups have. I'll show you those and their resale values when I show you them. But this was still decent, and there's a set of 8. Well, actually, there are 8 saucers and there are 9 cups. So I don't know if this is an heir and a spare kind of deal, but if I decide to keep them or if I decide to resell them, there will be an extra cup. And they are really pretty. I love the color. They are in perfect shape. So that I think was a great deal for $5. The next item was this. I remember these types of prints and souvenir shops and whatnot when I was a kid. This is California redwood. There's obviously a critter on there, something, a spider web. This has been in somebody's storage, but it's of the California redwood and it's really neat here. So I decided to pick that up. My husband, by the way, is from California, so he may even like this, but for $1, I thought I couldn't go wrong. And it's definitely vintage. This is something I would say was popular in the 70s and 80s, maybe even earlier than that. But I did do a quick look up on that as well. And I mean, it does have something that's a semi-decent resale value. So I picked this little bag up for myself because I thought it was just great. And it looks to be in perfect shape. It's Calvin Klein, which, I mean, it's really in lovely shape. Got some stuff in there in the pocket, not stuff per se, but like looks like pencil shavings or something weird like that. But I could always use another little backpack. It's got some nice pockets for $2. I could not go wrong with this, especially Calvin Klein. So that is a cool find. I do have a Poshmark that I've started, and I may put this on here. This was never used Estee Lauder bag. Still has this little tassel. It does have kind of a vintage Emilio Pucci look about it. I'm not sure, but I will see what happens with this cute bag. 100% recycled material. Enjoy this with this and the environment in mind. I think this was around 50 cents to $1. Looks like they maybe charged 50 for that. So I thought it was worth picking up. It's never been used. This is a brand new scarf set that I got for $2. And these are polyester scarves. I think that would be something that I could always put on Poshmark if I decide not to keep it myself. I ended up getting these shoes, which are from Pavers, which is an English company. It was £32.99. So you can see these are brand new shoes. They may be a tad small for me. I don't know if these are men's shoes or ladies' shoes, but they are brand new patent leather shoes. And I thought that they were worth grabbing. Poshmark, like I mentioned, I have different things that I'm selling, including ties. Now the ties I have currently listed are silk. These were basically, I think they were like $1 each. These are not silk, but they're still kind of cool ties. I like this golf tie. They are in beautiful shape. An Oleg Cassini tie. They're both polyester. That's kind of a very cool vintage looking tie. I grabbed these guys. I have to watch Achilles with this. He might think this is a string toy of some sort. This bag I thought was super cute. It is made in Nepal. It's unfortunately got a little bit of moth damage. I don't know its age, but it's 100% wool, and I know myself because I've had moths attack some of my things that can happen. But I thought it was a really sweet little bag, so I decided to grab that. This scarf I thought was really neat. I don't see a tag on it, but it was only a couple of bucks. It's in beautiful shape with the beading and whatnot. So I thought it was well worth it. And hopefully my little guy doesn't pick up on this number while I'm showing off my haul, because it might get shredded. Cats. Attenti al gatto. This is from Italy. It's like, pay attention to the cats, watch out for the cats. cute little tile. It's gotten beaten up a little bit. It's got, I don't know, maybe somebody tried to hang it up or something, use it in their bathroom. I have no idea, but I have my cat collection of stuff, so that'll go there. Did see some cat figurines, as you noticed, but the figurines themselves, I just didn't see that they might have decent value, so I decided to leave them, and they were there as a whole set. Now, this little guy was priced at originally $4, but then, and I don't think I did this, I think it may have been repaired previous to this, but it looks like there might have been a little damage to it, because the lady, as I was lifting it, and they were wrapping it, she noticed that the lamp was off, and so she suggested to the other lady that was there that they reduce the price on it. So I only got this guy for $2. I thought this was just kind of fun, this little thing. So just a note of disclosure to anybody who is watching this for reselling, make sure if you do a repair to something, and this is something that all the resellers do, if you do have to repair something, that you note that on your listing, because you don't want to have the buyer have any surprises. You want to be as transparent as possible. So in terms of books, apparently it was like they had some pricing system there, because they said you basically could have gotten 4 books. I didn't see 4 that I wanted, so I just told them to price this accordingly, and it was, I think, like $1 each, which again, this is going to charity. I thought that this was a unique cookbook, and Better Homes and Gardens, I don't have a copy of this. I do like to collect vintage cookbooks for the recipes, and I've got some still that I have to try on this channel. So I got these 2 treasures. We will save the best for last from that box, which is the Glassybaby, and show you a couple of my other its. One of them, and it was wrapped around here, is this cute little vintage necklace. Its appearance makes me think that it could be 60s, 70s. It's got that sort of a style to it with the turquoise beading. A couple of the things are missing from there, but it's just something that I would wear myself, or if my daughter would wear it. I think it's really sweet. And looking up the comps on this one, it's heavy, but it's $3. I couldn't pass this up. I thought that this was a really good value for this, and should I decide to resell it, I would say it goes like this vintage Corningware tends to go for like $30. So I would guess this is more of like an 80s to 90s piece. I don't know a lot about it. I have my own Corningware from the 90s. I grew up with Corningware, so I appreciated this, and $3, I thought you can't go wrong, especially for like such a giant piece like this. Something I really like about this piece, by the way, is the smoky style top. I think that's really cool. Now, I spent some time mulling over the teacups quite a bit because I didn't know which one to choose. They were all so pretty. They had one that was Japanese, one that was mixed in there. They had some that had the longer dish with the top on it, and those were like $10 each. Forgive me, I need a little something to wet my whistle. Talking a lot as usual. But in knowing what I know, which I consider my knowledge minor compared to others about these, what seems to go the most and the highest should you choose to resell something is something that's colorful, that's got patterns inside, that's unusual. And I have some teacups already that I bought that I paid quite a bit less for, but I decided to grab these again because it's for charity, but also because of the resale value in them. And so you can see what's important is that you look on the bottom of the cups
And the person who was pricing these knew the person who owned them. It came from a friend. And again, this was for charity. I thought this was lovely with this, and I thought $8 is not a bad price. It's Paragon. You can see the seal on the bottom, and because it's got HM Queen Mary, which Queen Mary passed away just before Queen Elizabeth's coronation, and she had her coronation officially in 1953. So these, I don't know their exact age. I would have to look them up more, but I mean, they do have some age to them. I would say, who knows? These could be from the 40s. These could be from the 30s. I don't know, but I will find out. We've got that. And then I thought this one was kind of unusual, and this is Ainsley, which can sell for a decent price. I don't know, there's a little moisture in there, probably from just the outside and the dew. It does need a little cleaning up inside because there is a little smudgy stuff. Who knows if it was being stored, but the pattern, it's sort of plain, but it's sort of not. It's unusual, and it's got stuff in the inside. And because it's Ainsley, I thought it would be worth that. And I tend to think that this is an older one as well. Not sure when, but I think because it's simpler, it's probably a little older. Moment we've all been waiting for, the Glassybaby. And what's interesting about this, and you can see, now look, you see right up there close to the camera lens, says Glassybaby on there. I had to do a double take just to make sure I had read this correctly and that it was in fact a Glassybaby. Now, what's the appeal with these guys? First of all, they're hand blown, they're made in the USA, they are made for charity, they are something that's it's a very heavy piece. That was something I noticed. Now, the first thing when I went over, and I flubbed with my camera because I think I was excited to look at something that appeared to be Glassybaby, but also I was turning my camera on and off if I was looking for things and doing some lookups. I was turning it on and off, and so I didn't have it on at the time when I first saw this, and so I went back and did a little filming. I'll be honest with you. There were a couple of others that were not marked on the bottom and did not have the etching on there. Most of them are marked, but there are some that aren't. I think they were produced in the early 2000s, but I still, again, need to learn about them. But it's heavier weight, and that's what I noticed was different. I had spotted the other few at first and was ready to walk away, and then I saw this one and thought, could it be? Because of the lighting in there and because it's etched clearly on the bottom, I wasn't sure. But depending on what would you say, the color, the pattern, that determines the value really on what they're selling for. But you can see it's like two-toned there. You can even see inside there, but this was my most exciting find. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with it, but it's something I only paid $1 for, so I could not pass up. I'll attach the website for Glassybaby to this video description so you can learn more about them. They look to give to charities that provide hope and healing, and their products, they also say provide hope and healing. And so I think that's a wonderful mission in a world where we need more hope and we need more healing. Oh, if you can find one of these, I would suggest picking one up. And if you can't find one and you really want one, I would suggest going to the Glassybaby website and purchase one if you can. I mean, it's rare to find something that's handcrafted in the USA these days sometimes.
that is so collectible. I think it's well worth it, and I'm so happy that I found you. This is my Glassybaby with a plastic tea light in it. I believe it is the BFF variety, and it's got such a beautiful glow. I can see why they're so beloved. Well, thank you again for watching. As you can see, it's not even 9:45 yet. I've got to grab some breakfast, hang out with my girl. I've got a lot of cleaning to do this weekend. Thankfully, I got a lot of rest. It's been really busy. You know, I work full time. I just do my videos and then my treasure hunting on the weekends. So it gets a little bit crazy for me. Last night, I went to bed really early because I knew I would be getting up early, and I feel well rested and ready to go and enjoy this weekend. I hope you enjoy yours too. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Bye-bye.